I just wanted to talk about the new patch, what it kind of means for how PvP is right now, and I also want to give some tips, some updated tips on how to PvP with Dagger. So with the patch, I want to talk about the patch a little bit first. Like I said, removed the important thing is that they removed the stamina cancel, so you can't infinite dash. They also removed the infinite ult glitch, which is really good. That's obviously a really good change. I'll post some clips right now. But that's how I lost a majority of my streaks, was due to people spamming ults, and I just sat there. I just wanted to try and kill them, and that's also one of the things I wanted to talk about with the new how PvP is gonna go. Is that right now in the FFA game mode, brawl it out. Like if I wanted to realistically go for a really high streak, it'd be pretty easy if I just sat in a corner and just waited and waited until I found the right opportunity to get a kill and just go back and wait. It's just so boring. Like I don't want to do that and wait out all the ult spammers and all of that stuff. So like a lot of times when I'm dying to these streaks, also I'm just sitting there. I try to go for a 1v1, and then I end up getting third partied or third partied by a ult spammer. I think a lot of people have complaints about third partying right now. And I do agree that's a problem because, like I said, I've lost some streaks to third parties just coming in. The thing is, when you had the infinite dagger stamina, I feel like a lot of times, for me at least, I could easily outrun a majority of people trying to third party. If somebody comes in third partying and I'm at like half HP, I can just dash away. Dash away, right? Let's say I have put myself in creative mode here, but I can just dash away like this, right? And majority of the time, I'm outrunning like a lot of people. A lot of people aren't good enough to hit consecutive hops. Um, but now, I mean, I haven't played on the new patch in PvP, so I'll try it out in FFA and see how it is to see if I can go for any streak similar to what I was going before. But just from like how I'm thinking it's gonna go, it's probably not gonna be easy because now I feel like you're even more of a sitting duck for third parties. Because even though they're not dashing around and jumping in on you, you can't escape if somebody comes in. Like you can, yeah, you can jump, but so can they, and you can't hop away or anything. So I don't know. That's gonna be weird. And also, like one of the only reasons that I enjoyed playing this FFA style game mode was because of the dagger dashing. Like I've seen videos of people who come into the server and they're talking about how hightail PvP is boring, and when I watch the video, it's just them walking up to somebody in third person just doing this, and then they die to some person, either the person they're hitting or a third party, and they're like, wow, it's boring. And like, yeah, if I'm watching them play like that, obviously the game's gotta be boring. But that's just not how the game is meant to be played. I do have to give them some credit though, because I do agree that if the game is just like that, where you're sitting there just attacking one person, and it's just like somebody just runs up on you and kills you, like that's boring. And I mean that's why I play the way that I do with the daggers and just dashing around, is because it avoids that kind of boring playstyle. So I don't know what it's gonna become now. If it's gonna become this boring way of playing, then I mean I'm most likely just gonna stick to 1v1s, maybe some sort of faction server PvP could be cool. I mean we'll have to see. I'll have to see how big the changes are. In terms of how High Rivals has set up their FFA, and I know they're working hard on trying to get other game modes out, and I'll be definitely there to try, like, especially 1v1s. And when they added ranked leaderboards for, like, kill streaks, I'm definitely going to be trying to get up on there, even with the changes. I think that's most of my thoughts on the new patch, the changes, and, like, how it's going to affect, like, the PvP meta. Obviously, daggers aren't going to be super prevalent anymore. They already weren't. I've tried a little bit of 1v1s, and I'll be posting at the end of this video some of my experience doing like actual 1v1s. And even though most of them are daggers, when you have access to other weapons like I did on the one server where I was playing, daggers just aren't actually that good. A lot of the other weapons are just better in terms of 1v1 just because of how bad the dagger's damage is. But I'll be talking about more about that in the PvP tips. So yeah, I'll just start with the PvP tips now for daggers specifically because, you know, that's the only thing I've been doing. So with daggers, one thing you have to know is that daggers is probably one of the worst weapons with the basic attack. Now the DPS, and if you want to know, this is let me just check real quick. This is a functional target dummy mod I found on Chris Forge. You guys should all check it out. It's really useful for, like, you can kind of practice. It's kind of glitchy sometimes. The damage doesn't go through sometimes, but it's really useful for checking damage numbers and just practicing. So you can see, like, there's a DPS in the bottom left that pops up too. But daggers, like, if I go and hit a little bit, you can see it. It's a 4-piece combo. The first two are really low damage, like 3 and 4. The second 2 hits are like the higher, 12 and 11. But the problem is, the dagger, it has like okay DPS, just basic attacking, but the range is extremely small compared to every weapon. If I'm sitting here, this is the attack range, like this is barely out of reach. Look at the sword's range. The long sword. So you can see this is barely out of reach of the long sword. You have way more range than the daggers, so... And the mace is also really OP. Okay, that's cobalt mace, but yeah. The mace is also really OP. I think that's what all people have been doing in 1v1s that I've seen. But yeah, anyways. So the dagger, the whole point of the dagger, and the way you get a lot of your damage, is by hitting the ability. So it's very important you hit the ability, because as you can see, like, also, if we test, like, this is iron, this is cobalt daggers, look at the damage difference. The damage difference is nothing. Like, you can't tell. But look at the iron longsword. Look at the damage difference. That's like double damage for having a better longsword. Mace, hitting for like 30. 36. A little bit higher. So, the main damage that you get from the daggers is by hitting the ability. So, first, let's talk about the 2 different animations you can hit with the dagger. You can hit direct hit, which does more damage. So, like, this is the animation for the direct hit. Right? So we get 39 as our direct hit damage. And there's also the slash. The slash is if you don't have a direct hit, but like you land like in front of them like this, right? You hit 31 damage. The differences between the two, obviously the slash does less damage, but the benefit of the slash is that if somebody's low HP and you're trying to stick on top of them, you want to slash so you stay on top of them. If I were to instead bounce... You see, I'm pushed all the way back here. Now, this wasn't a problem when you could just immediately go like this, and they chase after them again. But now that you're punished for, like, trying to spam movement with the daggers, you can't really do that anymore. Now, the benefit of direct hits is that you get a bounce. This is really good in 1v1s for gaining distance on your opponent and kiting them, which is going to be really important with daggers because... Now we're mainly a stamina-based weapon. We want to only really use this when we have stamina up. So if we just like sit here and we just spam our stamina, now we're just gonna hit like this, and we're gonna get out DPS'd by a lot of weapons, and we're out kited. Like they could walk backwards on us, just hit us with a longsword out of range, and we're taking way more damage. So it's very important that you play around your stamina. So what you want to do is when you direct hit somebody, like really close range, direct hit, you want to hold spacebar and S. If you're going backwards, you hold S. Oh. Hold S like this, and you start B-hopping back. And like when you're going backwards though, you are slower, so realistically you could do this and B-hop forwards and hold W. So hold spacebar down, hold W if you're turning around, or otherwise hold S and hold spacebar. This just gives you a lot of distance to work with. when you're 1v1ing somebody. So yeah. Now, some of the ways that you want to land your dagger hits, because that's obviously the most important thing. I want to talk about this new tech. I mean, it's not really new. I know a lot of people doing it accidentally, and they don't realize it. And I mean, it's because it's very easy to do accidentally. But I call it the bounce step. I don't know if other people have like an actual name for it. But essentially, what it is if you time... There's two ways to do it. First of all, I'll show the first way. You want to aim low. So if you're first person, you have to kind of aim low. Because if you aim high, you see how you go off the ground a little bit? That won't work. You have to be like low on the ground, and when you're on the ground, you see you kind of slide on the ground there. You want to hit spacebar at the end of the dash, like this, and you get like a jump. So you can do this to get behind somebody. And also, what I didn't talk about, I kind of forgot. So we obviously saw the hit 39 direct hit /31. If you hit from the back, this is the specialty of the daggers, is it does a lot more damage. The slash does 47. That's even more than a direct hit from the front. And a backstab does 60 damage. This is the main power of the daggers, is you want to get a hit on them, but also try to get a back hit. A back hit, even with a slash, is better than a front direct hit. So that's why trying to find a attack like this to hit him from the back is really good. Now, you could do that bounce step, and also another way to do the bounce step is if you're jumping or you're like mid B-hop, is when you're on your way down, you want to charge up the dash. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. That was weird. As you can see, like that. A lot of people do this accidentally. They don't realize it, and you know, sometimes you're trying to just dash into somebody and you accidentally do that and it messes up your attack, and I've had that happen to me before, but yeah. Now the main power of this version of the bounce step is it's really good when you have a lot of movement. The problem is you can't really get a lot of movement for free now, like this. There. So something like that. Obviously, it's really good when you have a lot of horizontal momentum, I mean. Sorry. But it won't happen very often now because of like not being able to spam attacks. So it's really good when you're trying to hunt somebody down. And also, the reason why it's also really good is because you have it has like a lingering hitbox. Your dagger hit has a lingering hitbox. So the faster you're traveling, like that, it's not exactly where, like, if I slashed here, really the hitbox, it lingers out, and it keeps going like here. That's why some of the clips you see in my video, like, the dash ends, but I still hit them afterwards, and I'll post a clip right now of that. So yeah. There's other ways to abuse this fact, though, and this is also probably the most useful 1v1 tip, and it's how you get around shields if somebody's blocking, because obviously the worst thing that can happen when we're trying to hit people with our daggers is if they just block it. Now, what we want to do is we want to try to get behind them, obviously. We already talked about how we can do this to jump over them, but we can also just do a really quick, like, flick to the side. So if we do like something like this, we can get behind them. Like that. Now, the thing is, you have to be very precise with where you land because of the daggers have such a low range on them. You can like easily overshoot it. Like, let's say I'm this close and I hold W. Okay, I managed to hit that one, but like that. You could easily overshoot it. The dagger dash, you could kind of control it with what movement button you're pressing. If you hold, this is a normal one, right? If I'm not pressing any buttons, I just do this. If I hold S, so I hold my back key, it goes a lot shorter. If I hold W, it goes a lot farther. So you can kind of use this to, like, if I'm here, hold S to go shorter and get the hit around them. So it's all about trying to get around them blocking, to hit them with a backstab attack, which does just significantly more damage. That's all my tips for now, and I might give more tips when I'm more experienced in 1v1ing it, with the new changes. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna show some 1v1 clips from the pre-patch before the patch happened, and I'll make sure to get out another video on what I'm doing post-patch for PvP and how it's going.